Oh, go spend all the money.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Spend all the money
I
and
know
know you
people.
got
It's usually the wife do that though.
Nah, my granny do it. I don't understand why you just like, oh, the money hit. Let me go buy this TV. Sure, that's why you get this thing. Your face looking small. Looking like, oh yeah. Don't put it on now. Sit up straight.
Okay, let's go.
We are back with Mom Rules.
That's real, unmuted life experiences and stories.
So we're just so glad you're here today. I am Edith.
I'm Angel. I'm Ray.
So today we're going to talk about our hot topic. So it's a lot of little things that are going on, that are out there, topics that come up. And now that school is going back in, the first hot topic is, should kids have phones? Or what age do you think is appropriate for kids to have phones?
Let's start with you, Ray.
I think kids should have a phone. When we were growing up, it was different. Like the time was different, and now it's just so much going on. I definitely think that kids should have phones.
Do you think it's an age or is it a situation?
I think once you start going to public school, maybe you need a phone.
So kindergarten?
If you know how to use it in kindergarten, but if you don't know how, like say you got a phone but you don't know how to call your mama, because you know some kids don't, like if Courtney knows how to call her mama on her phone, now she might not know how to
they have a little watch.
But hold on, but let's go there. What about now? Now you're not even allowed to take it out on the school grounds. From a teacher's perspective, and I don't know if you've seen the new policy that our kids' school rolled out.
Yeah,
never
use your phone.
Yeah, it's nothing that could be done at this point.
I get it not using it during instructional time, but the thing that that got me to settle down was that it says that like the exception to that is during emergencies or during so if something was happening, which is why I need my kid to have a phone. If something was happening or going on, then you would be able to use your phone. So say there was an active shooter, Lord forbid, or
well, I think every kid would disobey the rule at that point.
So
or fire or.
But you know what's crazy? At my husband's district, which will remain nameless, they're getting lock pouches, and they have to get locked up until the end of the day.
Well, first of all, kids aren't going to say they have phones. Like, I feel like
you can't check nobody.
In the school district, there's always been no phones, right, during instructional time.
Right.
So mine never pulled it out during instructional time anyway. The purpose of them having the phone, because they're not allowed to use electronics during the week, is when you get on the bus. If the bus don't show up, then we need to come get you. So after school, letting me know, as well as the other one walks. So when you're out of the building, you walk in the house, I need you to let me know, call me, text me. And then it's also my tracking device, with, of course, what is it? Apple Pay and that. But sometimes they don't ding right. So that was my main reason is, one is they're both different schools. And so with walking and bus, I just need to be able to communicate with you if you need to.
Right.
So they put it up in the bag anyway.
They also have, like, you saw the teacher that was giving the melatonin to the kids, and like there's always something that is going on in the schools these days. And I mean, granted, there was probably something going on when we were coming up, but it's so much more prevalent now. Like, I need my kids to be able to let me know what's happening.
So just so we don't deter, I think what our next topics need to be the education system from a parent perspective and a teacher perspective, because I have a lot to say on that on both sides, right? Because a lot of times as an educator, we have hell to pay with students that do not follow the rules. But that's for another time. We're not going to do that right now.
Well, let's go.
Here she goes.
Okay, I just feel like this. I feel like sometimes phones can cause issues, right? And so maybe last year, early that year, was a situation where there was a recording of the teacher fighting the student, right?
Or I feel the student fighting the teacher. Because I saw that, yes.
So where the recording showed the teacher putting their hands on the student. But for me, I'm like, we gotta look at this big picture. It was just so happened that play button went on right when the teacher attacked the child. We don't know what happened before that. Now, I'm not saying the teacher is the adult, we should have some restraint. But unless you have been in the classroom,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a different thing. There are a lot of disrespectful children. I sub at the school, so I kind of see it. And these children are bold, don't care what they say, don't respect
And
you.
that starts in the house.
Because they're going to say, Mama is coming up there. And, you know, sometimes I have to let them know, okay, like, I don't have to be here. You know, sometimes you have to let them know. And it's not that I would physically cause anyone harm. Never do that, because I don't put my hands on my own children. But it's just a matter of respect, and I can see that if you have a problem child that is being constantly disrespectful, and you can't do anything as far as removal because of the way the system is set up. They can go home, they come back, they feel like they won, they got the same behavior. And I know the law has changed where you can't ask a student to be removed from the class, but then what? Because the law also states that if they have nowhere to go, the administrator gets together and decides, and if that's the only place for the child to go, they come back to the class.
Well, they have, I think
So
a lot
it's
of schools have ISS in school detention.
Okay, but you can't leave them at a whole year.
No.
That they also, like, after you get so many write-up referrals, whatever, then you go to the alternative.
Not every school has I guess you could say an agreement with the alternative school. I think it just
A lot of these schools have a lot of chances. It's the same kind of loop of kids, and I don't think there is a appropriate process that is for both sides. I think a lot of teachers are under stress, and then you have children that are very disrespectful, and then they go to ISS and they come back, and the same behavior is there, and which ends up hurting the teacher, because some leave. There were teachers that I knew that left last year, but also you have the kids that are suffering because now the teacher can't teach nothing because they're dealing with the discipline problem. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, if we could revert to back in the day, then everything would just be all good again. But that's another subject for another day that we always find ourselves trickling off track. To answer the question, I do think it's a certain age for kids to have a phone. For me, my kid stays in my back pocket. There's never been a time he's been somewhere without me, unless he was with his grandmother. But like, yeah, school. But I mean, it's not like he was gonna call me during class or anything like that. And then I drop him, I wake him, go in, and then I pick him up from aftercare. Other than that, I mean, he has an iPad, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I never had a phone until I was 18. But I'm not saying he's gonna be to 18 because he started asking for one. I don't know why, but I told him I was gonna get him one because like now when he's at an age where when you go to basketball training for the summer, like they don't want the parents. It's just, you know, because you had that age. So I thought about that. So I don't know. Like I said, I just think if your kid goes places a lot without you, not just school, but like just a lot of places, family members, friends, sleepovers. Because my kid has never had a sleepover without me. You know, like if it is, it's at his grandmother and I'm there, and me and my husband. Right. Like, yeah, we don't. Right. So it's just, it has not been a need. But like I said, hit all his friends out once, so he started to ask, and I'm like, "What you need it for?" He's like, "So I can call you." I'm like, "But you always with me." But
so it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I have a niece that called, like, this was like last school year, and I got a phone call like during the middle of the day from my niece, and I'm like, something must be wrong. Anytime I see my baby's number pop up at a weird time or something, I always answer the phone because I'm like, something's going on. And so I answer the phone, and she's crying. She's like, there is a group of girls outside of my classroom, like, waiting on me, and I don't want to go outside. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, they're trying to jump on me, want to beat me up. And I'm like, well, where's the teacher? Well, they came into the classroom. This group of 10 or so girls came into the classroom trying to fight my niece. They're at a whole different grade level, not even in this class. It's during instructional time. The teacher said, y'all gonna have to take that outside. So now they're outside waiting on her. And so she calls me because she's like, I don't know what else to do. I'm not leaving out of this classroom. I'm not gonna, you know. And so that whole situation made me like, yeah, my kid is gonna start taking his phone to school. Because if the teacher, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with the teacher? Like, what do you mean they're gonna have to take us outside? No, this ain't gonna happen. Let me send y'all to the office, barge y'all in y'all's classrooms. Like, they had
bullying at all costs. I don't believe in bullying. I don't like bullying. So that was definitely a different situation.
Yeah.
So that's understandable.
Now for us, fifth grade, for Paige was the phone. Because I wanted to prepare her to have it in middle school because I knew she'd be riding the bus. And then when she moved on to the next school, then her brother got his phone because he would be walking. So it was more so the safety for us, for him to have it. And then when he would do camps where we had to leave them, he would have the phone just in case they ended early. Like one time it rained and the emails didn't go out, and he just said, "Hey, we're moving to the cafeteria." So I knew where to find him.
My son wasn't ready for him. He loses glasses the first week of school.
Yeah.
Every year since first grade, he loses his new pair of glasses. So if he gonna
Has he ever lost a eye?
he get on well.
Oh, they don't take it out of the house.
Like restaurants.
Yeah, where we're right there to remind him, like, hey, grab your stuff. But I'm like,
no, he's going up.
Like as they get older, he'll get more responsible.
yeah, exactly. That's why I have waited on the phone. Like, if you keep your glasses this school year, we can talk.
And I also did it during the summer when Jamie started taking his phone with him everywhere he goes just about now. I started during the summer. So like, okay, you're going to your uncle's house, make sure you have your phone. That way, if your uncle takes you somewhere I said you couldn't go. You know?
We had an old iPhone 3. That boy lost it within the same day. I said, where that phone went? I don't know. Like, you know what?
But also they play games and Roblox and things like that, so they're more conscious of where their phone is.
They want to use it.
Yeah.
So the next topic, which has been a lot on social media aspects, is what they call the Barbie effect. Body alterations, the plastic surgery, the BBL. So what's your thought on that? Would you do it?
I think that I would mommy tuck or tummy belly tuck, whatever the tucking of the stomach is after you have kids, I would do that in a heartbeat. But as long as my health was good and everything aligned with it, I wouldn't be desperate for it that by any means necessary I'm gonna get it. And I also wouldn't be like going to where I can find it the cheapest price and just let anybody do anything to me. But I'm not messing with my face. I don't need you to put cement in my butt. I don't want, I don't need all that. Yeah. But they can definitely tuck, what's it called? Belly tuck, mommy tuck? They can mommy tuck me, honey. I'll take that. Okay, what about you?
I support those who want to do what they need to do to make themselves feel good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it because I'm not about to get cut. I ain't doing it.
That's my perspective.
I had 2 C-sections and that was enough pain for me. So I will continue to support from the sidelines.
Now, I used to want a mommy tuck in the lip because I was like, if I breastfed all this time, I want to put it back where it is. But after having the C-section and having a hard time with recovery from that, I'm like, no, like, don't cut on me, don't do any of that. And as far as like major alterations, like the BBLs, and like you say, I agree. If that's what you want to do, it's gonna make you happy. You do whatever you want to do. Okay, that's your body. It's whatever you choose. But for me, having a daughter, I feel like I wouldn't change anything on my face or physical features. Yeah, like making the stomach flat. I'm not gonna do that just for the surgery aspect. But if that's what I want to do, I'm fine with that because my stomach is my stomach. But the butt, I would never want to say, well, I want a butt like you. I want a butt like you. Yeah. Because honey, I don't have it. And it's fine. I'm thinking, well, she may not have it, and then she'll be wondering why. Or when people change the nose, I think about, and then my children look like me. They're gonna wonder.
See, I didn't even think about that. I just don't want to get cut. So
I just didn't want them to say, well, mommy, you're so beautiful. Why I don't look like that? And then
my kid 3, if I had got one, she wouldn't know.
But
as they get older, you know what I'm saying?
I would have said I did some squats. I would have lied.
True. Okay, on that. So do you tell? That's another question. Do you tell your children about your past?
It depends on the past. It depends. Now, I'm just saying. It depends on the past, the topic, and the child. That's like saying you on crack. Why you want to tell your child that?
It's a learning.
It could be, but what if your child's a little weak and then he or she want to try crack? Like, oh, my mama tried it. She's fine for today, so I'm gonna go try a little crack myself. So why would you do that?
So for you, it depends on what it is and the topic.
And no, I never done crack, but I'm just saying, like, it depends on the child, the past, and topics. I'm just saying, you can't. I'm telling about, man, I went to college and I focused. Yes, because that is inspiring.
So you're saying you only tell them the positive?
I don't know.
So you're saying only tell them the positive things about you.
So this is the thing. Let's say I noticed a behavior they did when I was that age. Then I would revert back to what happened with me. So if you notice, not saying none of your child is on crack, but let's say you notice your child had snorted a little crack.
Okay.
And you know you had snorted a little crack, but because he already did it, then you be like, man, look, I snorted this crack and I did not, and this messed mommy up. And mommy had to
so for in that situation you feel it's relevant.
Right, because they did it.
But
don't bring it up.
The child is doing crack. That's what you want to tell them?
Why you don't tell them? Because what if they're curious and want to try it?
But shouldn't you get ahead of it and talk about drug usage before
you do, right? So you talk about certain drugs, but you also want to introduce it to a child and be like, curious about. Well,
I guess that depends on the kid.
Then start googling what drug is bad. Well, maybe I can try the good drug. Like, so I feel it depends, man. You can't just be doing. It's just like if you. So tell me this, not to say it like this, because y'all say unmuted. So I'm about to say something. You tell me if you had been with 50 men, you gonna go tell your daughter, Mama been with 50 men. You know that I'm just saying, but we talking about a situation.
So let me tell you, when it comes to certain topics, so when it comes to sex, because even my husband would be like, man, you know, told me. I'm like, we gotta break it down because I do not want you to know about it in the street before I tell you about it, and because it is such a thing now. I don't know what it is. The younger they get with certain conversations, I go ahead and I have that conversation with them. When it gets to that point where I feel like, which I would love for them to tell me, hey, I think I'm ready, then I'm gonna have the conversation and say, well, when I decided to do that.
Yes, but okay, but that's that. All right, so that's different. That's why I say it depends on the topic, the past that you're dealing with,
and
the child, because you got. Let's be real. Not all kids are level the same. Mentally, some kids are weak, and at the end of the day, you have to know your child. So that also depends on that. You have to know your child. You have to know if your child is one of them curious cats, risky, whatever. You look, okay. You can't just be introducing stuff. But you can't tell them that. Like you be like, hey, you gonna lose a leg if you do this yet. Like, don't do that.
You know what I tell my
exactly. That's crazy. I wasn't gonna say that on camera because that's not fit for the public. But don't do like her. You know what I'm saying? But
I do tell them like certain stuff about like the past and stuff. I do tell my kids, like my boys. I kind of feel like my boys know the mistakes mommy has made and the things that mommy did right, because I like. Sometimes Jamie will remind me like, oh, you remember when you did this when you were 18? And you know, and I be frustrated because I be like, boy, you don't be quiet. But I'm like, at least he knows. So now that he thinks about that, he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let that what she was like.
See, but it's different. You have some kids that act opposite. Now I know one thing, like I tell my kids, like now, because one day he was like, yeah, mom, me and my friends switch snacks. Everything's poison. Do not eat from anybody.
I don't say that, but I do say
I
you
say
don't
it.
know where it comes from.
Poison.
So,
he'll be like, my mom said I can't eat poison.
Look, edibles can be anything.
Exactly. So no, don't eat. That's the only thing right now. Don't take that. Whatever you can get, mommy can get it for you. If you don't need it, just let me know what it is. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all he needs. That's all he needs to know right now.
I tell them. Like when I was in college, when I first went to college, and I was going well, and I had scholarships and everything, and then I met a loser, and I got pregnant, girl, and lost my scholarship, and I told my sons that, and so they're always.
Well, yeah, that's different, but see, again, that's different.
But you're not giving names. Like I don't feel like names.
Oh no, you don't.
All that don't need to be.
Because then what? They gonna get on social media.
That's so unnecessary.
Like right now. my son is 9. He think all females is gold diggers. I'ma just leave him like it is. So we already on the right track.
Well, that's not true.
Well, Roblox has showed him different.
Okay, so eventually you're gonna change that narrative because mommy's not like that.
I will let him find his way until I see that we have hit the situation where he needs to be redirected.
And his sister is not like that.
He said that his women is gold digger, but when Courtney get married, somebody can take care of him.
Okay, so since
Double standard, and I'm okay with it right now.
Listen, gold digger. Let's remember that. Do you believe in the 50-50 split?
Not 50-50, but help. That's different.
Okay.
Because I ain't giving 50 or nothing. Okay. But you, like, let's say my husband paid the mortgage. Then I'll pay the light bill, cable bill, water bill, gas bill, groceries, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot. Not compared to their mortgage.
Okay.
But
isn't that like because
isn't that a marriage
where you? Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say by
I know some marriages they don't do nothing.
Well, I was gonna say by 50-50 that like you actually split every bill in half, or you mean like 50-50
right.
sharing the load?
I'm talking. What I've been seeing is when I watch those little things that come on the Facebook where they in line talking about introducing themselves, they're like, you believe 50-50?
Pop the balloon?
Yeah, that stuff. Like, I think they're talking financial. I don't think they talk about.
I mean, like, else. But even with that, so like she said about like he'll pay the mortgage and then I'll pay the other utilities and stuff like that. Like that's still splitting it up because I mean, if you don't pay none of the utilities and all of that, you got an empty house.
I just see what you're saying because like splitting half and half means the bill's 5,000 all around. I pay 25, you pay 25. No, I don't believe that.
Okay.
No. Because I can live with my mama for free. So,
interesting. Okay.
But I'm saying, I do feel sharing the load. Like, I don't feel my husband should have to pay for what I need or want, what my kids need and want, what he needs and wants, plus pay all the bills. Like, no, that's overdoing it at that point. Now you using somebody because if you work and you bring in something to the table, I don't have a situation where he pays all the bills and you save half your check in the bank in y'all savings account. That's still sharing the load.
Yeah.
But you have to do something.
A partnership.
Right. It don't matter if the bills is $5,000 and you pay $1,500 of it. You're still doing something because not everybody in the household make the same amount to afford.
And I don't understand what the conversation is really come from and the emphasis, I guess, with this new age single people. But I mean, when I grew up, you have a main account, and everybody put. Now it wasn't ever told us like what mama or daddy put in there because there was a salary difference.
Right.
But you had an account where the bills came out of, and then you had savings accounts.
Yeah.
And then if there was something that somebody wanted on their own and they didn't want to take from the main account, and they knew, well, we got other things going on because I just think people are not aware and they're kind of selfish. They don't think about, hey, school is about to start. Bills are coming up. Groceries are a little higher, So sometimes I know we as parents, we sacrifice, but there are people that don't do that. So just having your funds on the side, that if I want to get my nails done, I do that.
So the thing is, what I admire about Jeremy wholeheartedly, like, so I have my own personal account. He has his own personal account. We have a savings account. There's other things here and there. He refuses to be on my personal account, but I'm on his personal account. So I'll make sure that his funds go towards whatever he gotta pay. But he trusts me enough to know that I'm going to do what needs to be done with my funds.
Yes.
Right? So I feel it depends on the woman and the man. Right? Every relationship is different. You don't have to be on your significant other's account for that to happen. But it is a good thing because, some people be lying. Yeah. That's how the men be on the side chicks too, though. You don't see what go in and out that.
But when death comes, you gotta go through a whole lot to get that money out of it.
That too.
So don't put some people on that account or your
children. You can put them on there as a beneficiary without just having to be like have access to your funds.
Oh, that's a good question. Would you ever let your kids know that they your beneficiary on like investment accounts or something like that?
They got to know where the money is.
They about to Menendez, nobody around here.
Oh,
I think that I was so in those situations, my children know like, hey, there is a lockbox with documentation. If anything ever happens to mommy, this is where you go. Yeah. And that's
it, right? Yeah, you don't need to know nothing else.
They don't need to
I
know
don't
all
know
the
where to do it.
details of everything.
But I think life insurance, that should be a regular conversation because I think that's something culturally we don't discuss and not
they know that we have it, and that's it. Like I don't feel like you.
Yeah, you
like
don't need to go in there.
Not because you can't be saying, "Oh, my policy is this."
You don't need. Yeah, that's not necessary.
Yeah, because even though you know that your kids are not the, lunatic people, they might just in conversation be talking to somebody who happens to be a lunatic.
That part,
they're like
trying to conspire. Yeah.
So I mean, they know the basics.
But another round, y'all stop putting all that pressure on that man or that woman. Y'all share some responsibility around here, please.
But if you're married, I feel, because some people are shacking and doing.
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm teaching on, but I don't feel like they should have the same pressures and standards.
Like don't have no savings account or like that.
That's how you tell people, or how somebody would tell a man, if you're not making me a wife, then don't expect wife stuff.
Yes.
So I wouldn't put the same standards on somebody that's just living together that I would on somebody that's married.
In that note, all right, if he's paying the rent and y'all look at, buy some groceries in the house, buy that man a shirt and some shorts.
But I do think it's just a conversation. I don't think people talk about finances, and I feel like that is a big at the top of the list why people get divorced is finances. Love don't keep a marriage, okay? I think people do not have the conversations. Before we got married, my husband was Catholic. I wasn't Catholic at the time, and we had to do these little retreat and natural family plan. I was like, man, I don't want to do all this. And I actually used the natural family planning. And when we were at the retreat, I was laughing, but I was older. I was 29 when I got married. I'm like, these people ain't talking about nothing. And we were older, so the conversation about, okay, if you don't have, like one question was, if you don't have any money, would you be comfortable with your spouse going to their parents asking for funds if y'all when you get married? If, what was one? That's that period menopause. But it was a lot of financial things. Oh, if one of the parents gets sick, would you be open to your in-law coming to live with you?
I'm not gonna comment. Can we go to the next subject?
I think
You don't want to
you don't have to comment. But what I'm saying is like, okay, so as far as asking about the money, asking your other parent for money. If my mom was still alive, we would definitely, do it. And even for him, like, hey, if you have to ask him out, I'm not like too proud to whatever. But I feel like it also comes with the relationship that you have with your in-laws. So before you marry this person, if you know that you can't stand their people and they can't stand you,
but it still needs to be a conversation.
I mean, your mom is your mom, and I know that I'm gonna do if my mom needs something.
But it can't be one-sided.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
then your marriage was struggle. So that's why it's important. Like people's marriages fall apart because they can't communicate. Yes. Communication is so important, and you have to be able to talk to your partner about like literally everything. You got to be able to talk to each other, and if you can't talk to each other, or at least come to some kind of understanding, even if you agree to disagree, if you can't come to some type of understanding, I don't know how your marriage goes.
Okay, hold on. I got a question. All right, so you know how you said, all right, so we talking about parents, like if you wanted to help your parent, and let's say your husband was on the same page, then you said, okay, I have to figure out with my husband, right? What if it was your child, and your husband saying, I don't feel that you should give our kids this money for this, and you saying, like, let's say your son is out the house, okay, and he running low on funds and he needs something, and your husband be like, look, no, he needs to be a man, he don't need to have it. Would you still have that same mindset that, like, we have to come together on my mama, or else we'll hit a dead spot, or,
I think it would definitely be a conversation. It depends on how many times it was asked. Is there a hidden
what
thing
is
there,
the child
use there,
doing with
or
their
is
money?
it truly a
What's the
need?
daddy trying to teach them? Like, what's going? It depends on what's
Because I grew up in where if we needed something, my parents helped us, but it was to an extent. It depends on the. Are you always asking? Like, what is it?
It could be groceries for college. Like maybe he is always asking.
Okay,
But what if your husband's like, nah, he needs to utilize that meal plan. Like,
okay, that's a conversation, and we say, okay, well, you need to go. Because I get
what
that.
if y'all disagree though? Like, what if he still standing down and saying no?
Or if my husband knows that or if my husband
You ain't playing my thing, we gonna keep talking until we figure it out.
If my husband knows that, like, you going and spend, like, you letting everybody come in your room and y'all having Thursday lunch out or whatever.
Well, that, but
so now he's like, okay, well, I know he's doing this, so no, we're not gonna.
And they're not starving either.
But like, I've been, I've stayed on campus like for 4 years. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have, but it's like, eventually you get bored and you'll run through some food. So I already know my son likes to eat, so I'm just like calculating. But I know,
Go get a job. My daddy gave me so much gas each month.
Tell me my kid have a job in college. Am I a problem?
That's on you. You got to deal with that. But I knew, in my parents, they required that. But that at the time it was just $25 a month for gas. Because my grandfather gave me a car. And so, well, if I wanted to ride the car and go to New Orleans to see my other friends, I needed to go do what I got to do because I knew I wasn't going to ask. Now I know I swiped that card a few extra times. But it was a conversation that was going to be had. But I went ahead and said, I'm going to go work over here at this hotel a few days a week.
And see, I definitely understand that. I guess for me, like, I graduated college with I think it was a 3.0. But that last year I didn't work. I had a 4.0. So that right there taught me that I don't want my kids to work through college. Right?
But if that's the case and you don't want them to work, then you have to set up other avenues for them to have. So, like, put
money aside.
Account,
because I know we all been reckless in college, and it's only right that our kids probably be, as long as it's not in a harmful way, they're probably going to waste some money and want some shoes. And I don't think so.
I feel like that's.
I feel like I don't see as they grow with their materials or what they.
I don't want them to be like, oh well, I don't want to have the mindset anyway that because I know that I went off to college and I turned up and did this and that. I want them to have the same turn up experience. No, I told them about it, but I'm saying I don't want to have the mindset that because I did it, I want them to have the same experience. Because you gotta.
Well, not turn on, but I'm talking about doing stuff like campus. Like I want them to. I'm making the grade. I want them to be
right, but those things he already has. So we make sure that he's already rewarded for it. Like, it wouldn't be a difference for us
in college
when he goes to college because he already gets you. Your job is to make good grades and do what you're supposed to do in school and in the classroom, and you come home and everything else is going to take care of. And that will continue as long as he is in school.
But the summers you got to be doing.
It's like
internship, make some money. You got to have your own stash of your own account.
Because like right now, like with my son, of course. So I think it was probably about 2 years ago. He had an age where he asked for stuff. I ain't gonna lie, I can get it. Jeremy say I got it. What do you say? How you say that? I'm a pushover. That's what he say. But I mean, it be Roblox, Fortnite, V-Bucks.
Cohen and them V-Bucks. Ooh,
I know.
Cohen and them V-Bucks, baby.
Yeah.
Cohen need to go meet Elon Musk with the V-Bucks.
She'll be like, I just bought 45,000 V-Bucks.
Hey, it was crazy because he came to my school one time. Or, no, I had his Roblox. I took his iPad because I needed to charge it to bring it to him later. And it was like, Miss Brown, you got your son iPad? I'm like, yeah. He was like, can we see his Roblox? Can I show him? They're like, whoa, how he got all that? He got this. I said, I bought all that. I didn't even know I bought all that. It's like, can I buy his Roblox account for him? I said, I don't think he's going to let you do that. They was just fascinated. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize
he had this much.
I used to be typing in.
Okay. So before we end our episode today.
Social media versus real life.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Social media versus real life. Because some of y'all be out here thinking what y'all see is
what it is.
And then you get catfished.
Y'all gotta stop that.
So tell me.
Please.
So tell me something that, like, if a person from the outside was looking at your what would they assume versus what's real life about you?
See, that's a tough one because the only thing I post is about me and my family. Like, I don't really post like for example, before I say, you know how some people, they have like trips, you see them on trips 24/7, and you often see people like, how they do that making $14 an hour? You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, with me, my social media is only tailored towards my kids' birthday events, my anniversary pictures, captured moments. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this, I can speak on a friend behalf. I have a friend that on her Instagram, man, people living their best life. Like, oh my God. And she would constantly find herself in not a depression, but down in a funk because she's like, bro, I want to do what she's doing. I want to do what he's doing. I want to do this. And I often found myself telling her, you see the picture, but you don't see behind the scenes. You don't know if they just got you being Ike and Tina right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? True. Like, you
or that's a multiple
right.
pictures put
You
together.
don't know if their vacation is on Florida. I mean, not Robert. Hey, I love Florida. But I'm just saying, you don't know. Like, you thinking people making big money on their jobs. You see them this, you see them doing that. But you don't know. Like, you just don't. And that's why I try my best to not pretend on social media. And you're not going to my real life. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to just post a random status and be like, I'm thinking about going to California or New York this week. I'm going to let y'all know where I'm going. No, I'm not doing that. You got people that got it so bad that they will tag themselves in another place and they at home.
Yeah. So you have to just do it. But even some content creators that people follow, they may be thinking they're purchasing these things and they're not. I just think you have to be aware.
Yes.
But people that you really know,
you feel like about that somebody would assume like about, oh, you just got this and this all together, but reality
well, I
versus
don't
social
say
media.
all that on there. What you see, if you see that event that's on there, I did it. I was sweating and I was probably standing up for 12 plus hours. That all of that is real. I don't
Exactly. So you see how she said like she was standing there for 12 plus hours. She's tired. And all the work that went into it. It wasn't like I just popped up today. I already had this assistance. This was already done, and we just hit the ground running. It's like work that goes into it.
Right. And see, that's the positive outlook. But then they got the people, and I support y'all, but they will sit here and say they've been in the gym. And they took the shot. But it's okay. Just don't put it out. Like, don't be like, man, I lost 50 pounds being in this gym. Like, just be quiet. Don't do that. It's okay if you took a journal. It's okay if you took Ozempic. But don't lie. Like, that can't happen in 2 months. I'm just saying. You ain't catch me lying. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't saying nothing.
But I feel like you have to be aware so you don't get depressed or in that mentality, I want what they have, why can't I get it?
Right, providing false narratives for people.
Know. Like I even tell people, when you see people with the cars and the houses, it's like, okay, you can get that, you got credit.
Bro, I know somebody,
it doesn't matter to me.
They always get a new car. Like,
leasing.
Exactly, because ain't no way you ain't got no negative equity. But you will sit here and say, oh, I got this new car, this go, upgrade. Stop lying. It's lease, your lease over with. And
but
it's
how
okay.
I feel is if that's what you want
right,
to do,
like I
do it. That's your household.
Right, but when we talk about social media versus real life,
don't
lie. Like, you ain't gotta lie about it. You do something, move in silence. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start doing too much, not that it's none of our business, but people start to question, right? Like, it's just too much. Just
not even
let
this
it be.
question. Like, some people, like, you have to always remember that there are people in the world that want the easy route.
Yes.
And they will rather rob you than go work to get it. And so if you're putting out this picture like you just got all this stuff and you really don't, now you're putting yourself in harm's way. Like, and you putting it all over social media. Now you're putting yourself in harm's way because somebody's gonna want to target you for something that you don't even have.
Yeah. That part.
So I think that,
that part. I agree.
They're gonna do it anyway, but just be level about it.
Yeah, and like respect people too, because I do know a few people that I follow on social media that like all three of us have anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Like to different degrees or whatever, but we all, have anxiety. And I know that y'all know that I don't like people.
She don't say that every time.
She
like y'all.
But no, I'm not saying I don't like people. I don't like people.
The social aspect.
Yeah. So there are people that I follow on social media as well that as bad as my anxiety is, they have it so much worse. And then they're like, oh, I see people in public and they just they rush them thinking that they're supposed to be like, you know, interacting and kind and like, oh, hi. And they're like just trying to run away from you. And they're like, but this person's a me in real life, you know? And it's like, no, what you see on social media is not always what it is.
Person is.
Yeah.
All right, but yo, it's time to wrap this session up. It was definitely interesting. I like this. It was different topics.
And nobody here is on crack, guys.
Nobody.
I know she talks about crack quite a lot, but nobody is on crack.
I'm not. I promise you. Okay? I can't even take Tylenol, so trust me. All right, we good. But again, thank you for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you guys on our next episode.